The ByteDance owned TikTok could certainly sell to Elon Musk.
It looks like TikTok is set to be banned on the 19th of January. Can you just give us the latest of what could happen?
I think it's important to frame this Supreme Court review of the TikTok divest or ban case in terms of how both sides are viewing it, which is this idea of the First Amendment freedom of speech in the United States versus national security. And we heard a few days ago the Supreme Court hear arguments and contemplate these issues thoroughly for over 2.5 hours, and really looking at whether the First Amendment freedom of speech issue applies when we're talking about a foreign Chinese owned company, in essence, which, according to the Supreme Court's history, does not get any protections for freedom of speech under the First Amendment. And then we're also looking at the national security concerns that have come up time and time again through ByteDance's own actions, through the fact that it has to report to the People's Republic of China, and then also that we are not able to see these redacted documents, but we've seen claims that and allegations that there have been issues. The Biden administration and the lawyers that are fighting are saying there are severe national security concerns, and that's what this law is targeting.
Could China actually sell TikTok to someone like Elon Musk?
The ByteDance owned TikTok could certainly sell to Elon Musk. And that is really what the divest or ban law is suggesting. We just need to change ownership, because the concern is having to report data and then having concerns about other issues, misinformation, disinformation spreading on the application itself. So the point is not necessarily to ban the app. That's not what we're looking at. It's really just to have it sell to American ownership. And Elon Musk is in the running. We have other American billionaires looking at it and tech giants. So we'll have to see what happens. Right now, a lot of people are calling this a game of chicken. And unfortunately, it's really negatively impacting the hundreds of millions of American users who not only access TikTok, the platform, for joy to see great videos and pictures and education, but also for the many millions of Americans that use this for their business.
What about the argument, though, that the data is being collected on Americans and is potentially or could potentially be shared with the Chinese government because of the links that ByteDance has with the Chinese Communist Party?
The data is being shared. It's being collected. It could be accessed at any time by the People's Republic of China. And that's the purpose of this law, too. It's to impact how data is shared. And the United States has already taken a strong stance on what information we're making available about American citizens to foreign malicious actors. It's not just China, it's Russia, it's Iran. And that national security concern is extremely alarming. That's not to say that we don't have privacy concerns for other Chinese-owned applications. There have been arguments, why aren't you looking at Temu and other Chinese apps and stores and other data collectors like other social media platforms? But TikTok operates differently because it not only has the concern of collecting and providing that data to foreign malicious actors, but it's also how it sets forth information to users. So there's a couple different concerns operating at the same time there.
And what could happen to users on the 19th of January if this Supreme Court ruling goes in favor of banning TikTok? Are there, on your phone, is it going to be deleted or what's going to happen?
Based on many experts' interpretations of what the Supreme Court has said, it does look like TikTok will be forced at that moment to divest or be banned. And if they choose to go dark, it means that the app will no longer be available in app stores. And what that means is that it's basically going to fall into oblivion. It's going to become buggy, very hard to use. You won't be able to access it unless you use a VPN, a virtual private network, which most people are not going to take the time to do. So many users have come up with a backup plan. They're putting their content on YouTube or Instagram or other platforms, but it's going to be very different. And if TikTok does choose to divest, which there isn't really a reason for them not to in order to maintain their user base and the stronghold that they have, the algorithm will take time to redevelop, but we have expertise to do that. So it can't be that it's just this Chinese-owned IP that's holding everything up. And that's really the interpretation that the Supreme Court is looking at too.
How could President Trump change this? Because it seems that he's not in favor of banning TikTok.
Trump has changed his opinion on TikTok. He was for a ban when he was in his first term. Now he's saying it's helped his campaign and he wants to keep it around. He's saying he wants to have a political negotiation about the status of TikTok and give more time to review the deal. But really, he can't overturn this law once he comes into office. What he can do is review the way that TikTok divests. And so there's a little bit of wiggle room in terms of what it means for TikTok to sell to an American owner. So Trump could have some say in that process.
More broadly, how do you see Chinese influence in America in the future? So in terms of whether it's TikTok or other social media apps, or it's hacking on American infrastructure and so on, do you think that China is going to remain a threat to American national security in this way?
China is a strong threat to American national security and will continue to be a strong threat. We've seen it through malicious hacking campaigns to our telecom, to critical infrastructure, to sow discord on social media platforms. And that it's also collecting data for espionage and for other purposes. We have to be aware of the national security context here. There are big disagreements that are setting forth as Trump takes office in terms of tariffs, in terms of microchips, in terms of all of these issues. We're also looking at the U.S. trying to legislate how artificial intelligence collects information on U.S. citizens through Chinese programs. There are many concerns here. And obviously, it's not just China, it's other malicious actors as well, like Russia and Iran. We have to be aware of these relationships.
And do you think that if Elon Musk owned TikTok or bought TikTok in America, the concerns around users' privacy and the content on the app and so on, would they still be relevant or would they go away?
The privacy concerns take a different form when someone else purchases, even an American owner, because we're no longer necessarily looking at foreign malicious actors having access, although there are concerns that third parties could be selling, brokering that data. But then we have privacy concerns that we've struggled with in the United States for decades. Unfortunately, we have no unified data privacy standard in this country. We still struggle with it on a piece-by-piece level at the state. And so that is still a concern that remains, that must be addressed, and it has to be given priority. So that data privacy issue remains. It just looks a little different.
Thank you for watching this video. If you want to watch more content, please subscribe to our new GBN America YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.